Hey there, welcome back to Beacon in the Storm. I'm your host, Dr. Bradford Carlton. Today I have a very special guest with us. I have Chairman Mark Smith, who's the chairman of the Benzie County Republican Party out of Michigan. Hey there, Mark, how's it going?
Hey, good. I'm delighted to view you live. Yeah, thanks for the wonderful introduction. As we were chatting off screen, you have no political aspirations, nor did I, nor do I. But here I am. Yeah, so
Well,
I'm
I
I'm all
used to. The
ears.
difference is I used to have political aspirations. I tried that, decided I'm too honest for it.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I think you're just the man for the job because in today's politics, especially in the state of Michigan. Uh, that is what has happened, and your timing is perfect. I was on a Zoom call last night with our new chair of our party, Christina Caramo, and what has happened in the state of Michigan is nothing short of a peaceful revolution. And what's happened is the power base, the base of power in Michigan politics. We have we the people, the precinct delegates, the people on the street, we have moved the center of power from Lansing, Michigan, back to the precincts, back to the precinct delegates. And I was on a call last night, and anytime you make a change that big, there will be disorder, there will be chaos. But out of that, it's done in the right spirit. It's done in the spirit of really what our founding fathers expected and they asked of us. And 30 years later, we finally decided we should respect that. So it's an exciting time. And I had been a businessman and sold everything. And as we chatted earlier, I truly thought I'd sit here on the North Shore of Lower Herring Lake and sit in a kayak and let the world go by. But no, I went to one Republican Party meeting and I couldn't have that. So
All
and,
it,
and
all
I
it
know
takes is one, right? Just
well, yeah, and Sue, my wife, says, Mark, you know what's going to happen. You're going to run that. Here I am. So,
all
and I'm
right.
having it right.
So
Yeah.
Mark, why don't you begin by just telling us a little bit about your background and how you ended up where you are for the viewers who don't know the story?
Yeah, the quick story is I was like everybody. I got out of high school, didn't know what I was going to do, and I didn't have any money, but grades were okay. And so I ended up at Western Michigan University, and I found a program there called Paper Science and Engineering, all performance based. And if you get good grades, you get more money. And as a completely capitalist young man in the making, I that resonated with me. So I got good grades and graduated from Western with a degree in paper engineering and a business minor. Got in sales, obviously, loved it. Found out I couldn't work for anybody because they were all dumb and they thought I was dumb, and you know how that goes.
Yep.
So I finally found a company I could work for, which was myself, and that guy was very challenging, but ended up with two partners and was an independent rep for a while in a small company. We took the three of us took all of our money, everything we owned, bought some used equipment in Chicago, welded, painted, stuck it together. The tough stuff worked. And we started selling chemicals into the pulp, paper, and specialty chemical industries in '91. By the probably late summer of '91, I remember I was my entire worth, everything I had less than $100. Talk about desperate. Wife, two kids, young kids, house. This better work. It did. And so we bought another company in '99. We became a global supplier to a variety of industries. A guy came along that liked what we were doing, and we were the classic rock story. Eventually, the three of us couldn't stand each other. We all thought we had jerks for partners, and we were probably all correct in that assessment. So we sold it. And yeah, so 2014, we sold it. 2015, the ink dried, checks didn't bounce. So we built our house where our cottage used to be. And as I was telling you, our grandkids are now the seventh generation of people to be on this end of this lake. So a lot of family, a lot of history, a lot of roots.
Okay.
Uh, and then I watched what happened in some of the elections. I watched how people were willing to subjugate their freedom to somebody on a TV screen through the whole COVID fiasco. And my feelings are obvious. And I watched my Republican Party do nothing really. I mean, and it was that I couldn't tell. I couldn't live here and wake up in the morning and say that's okay. So I got involved and became a precinct delegate, and then they had the convention, and they asked me if I'd get in the front of the room and wave my arms around like a chairman. I said, sure, I'm good at that. So here I am.
Well, there you are at the ripe old age of 40, right?
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, I'm little north of 40. But no, I mean, as we were chatting earlier, there's nothing more fulfilling than serving others, and I think that's I was thinking about what you said in your questions, and were you born a man or a woman? To me, that's not a debate. You're a male or a female. You become a man,
Mm.
and life teaches you lessons. It teaches you how to endure. It should teach you gratitude along the way. But what you find is a life of service is very fulfilling, and like it or not, that comes right out of scripture. And so many times you find people that are lost, or they're confused about why am I here? What should I do? Well, they're really confused about their faith. And I think faith gives you a firm foundation to then move forward and become the man God and the Bible teaches you to be. And if you accept that challenge, which, I mean, we're built to accept challenges as men, like it or not. We are supposed to be the watchman on the wall. We're supposed to lift other people up, help others. You'll find it's incredibly rewarding. So
Absolutely.
I strayed a little ways how I became head of the
No,
GOP.
that's good.
No,
And
that's my job.
you're leading right into my first question, which I know you spent a lot of time considering. You know what the questions are in advance. So I'm going to ask you, Mark, I don't care what is a man. That's not the purpose of this show.
Biologically, I think I know that one.
Yeah.
But
I want to talk about what is a man, and I'd like your opinion on that. What does it mean? I mean, what does it mean to be a man? I apologize.
Well, I'm going to cheat a little bit. I started looking back into like what the Stoics thought.
Oh, I love Stoicism. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think it would have been interesting to sit on a rock in a robe and have no other interference or distractions but the guy next to you and figure these deep questions. But the question was, man, what's it mean to be a man? And it's just, but can you be fully content with your life? Can you bravely face what life has in store from one day to the next? Can you bounce back from every kind of adversity without losing a step? Can you be a source of strength and inspiration to others around you? That's Stoic joy, the joy that comes from purpose, excellence, and duty. It's a serious thing, far more serious than a smile or a chipper voice. And I think as you evolve into a man, you start accepting that responsibility, and you're not expected to do it at 5 years old or 20 years old or 30 years old, but you evolve. And there's lots of distractions along the way, and some don't make it, I guess. And as you had talked earlier, sometimes it just takes a simple smile and a hi, how are you today? And the impact of that you'll never measure, but it's powerful. It's so powerful. Yep.
Yeah,
I tell everybody, God gives you the ability to put a smile on somebody's face every day. Yours. Your job is to go out and share it once.
That's right.
And you would be amazed next time you're waiting for a flight, look around. Everybody's looking at their phone. Somebody might catch your eye. You smile at that person, and instantly, whether they realize it or not, God created us. Our default position is love, and we need to start tickling that part of your brain, not the negative part, not the part that makes you discouraged and keeps you down. No. Love and smile. Have a good day.
Absolutely. And
I'm terrible at it, Bradford.
No, you're not. It's actually amazing, bouncing off what you just said there, how we affect other people, in the sense that, you get asked all the time, right? How are you today? And so many people are like, I'm all right, or better than others. I decided years ago that I'm incredible. And so when somebody asks me, how are you doing today, Brad? I'm incredible. I remember being at the airport, getting on a plane, and the lady, checking everybody to get on at the terminals. How are you? How are you? And everybody's like, and I go, I'm incredible. And she stopped the line. She's like, I have to tell you, I've been on a 12-hour shift today. I couldn't get off. You just made my day. Thank you so much. And
I rest my case.
Just like that. That's all it takes.
It is. I was traveling professionally when I traveled a lot. I flew a lot. And I remember I was going through Hartsfield, through the Atlanta airport, and I came across a fella, and it was probably Thursday. I don't know, pick a date, middle of the week. The guy was just dressed phenomenally, just looked spectacular. And I must have said something smart like, man, you look good today. And the guy looked right at me and he goes, it's the best day of my life. And it struck me like your comment. I said, I'm going to steal that. So when people ask me how you doing today, I tell them it's the best day of my life.
That's beautiful.
That's true. The day is yours. You never release the ability to affect your day to anybody else. It is yours. You are in control of your mood, your attitude. And I refuse to subjugate that to anybody but myself.
Oh, this is such a beautiful
Once you do, that's the best day. Every day's the best day.
Oh, this is great. All right, let's move on. You mentioned basing a lot of what you believe on Scripture, and so part of my mission here is to lead men to Jesus, and that requires an understanding of what it means to have faith. So I want to ask you, why is faith so important for men today?
Well, it's and again, I just relish these questions because part of what faith provides is a firm foundation in a power greater than yourself. And once you embrace that idea, it doesn't say it does everything for you, but it provides, regardless of the situation you're in, that life puts in front of you, you have the faith that there's a God that loves you. He sent his son to die to prove that. So what other testament do you need to realize there is a force greater than yourself, and once you allow that into your life, either through your first confession or getting on your knees alone and just saying, I accept you into my life. It sounds simple, and you've probably done it. I've done it, but I challenge you, if you've never done that, do it today. Don't wait. When the show's over, go to a quiet part of your house, get on your knees, ask the Lord to enter your life. You will be stunned by what happens. Absolutely. But anyway, I think that's important. You need a firm base so that you can face the challenges of the day. And faith, our country was founded with that. Our founding fathers relied on that. I was reading a book on the first wave at D-Day. Now, what inspires a 19-year-old kid from Kansas to do that other than a faith in God and a belief that it's worth protecting the country that allows that embraces that? We need to maintain that part of our culture.
The eternal struggle of good against evil.
100%. It's always there.
Absolutely. All right. And on that note, I've told you, and we spoke right before the show started, that my mission here is to save lives, to get men to if they're on the edge of considering suicide, to step back and see that there's a reason there to live. And so if there's a man out there, Mark, who's struggling, who may feel that they don't have a purpose in life, or feel that they don't belong, or whatever their reason is, maybe it's a relationship issue.
Sure.
How can we get them to better know Jesus, who wants them to live, who wants to save them?
Yeah, that is such a good question, because as we talked just a moment ago, Jesus is waiting for you to say hello. I mean, it sounds silly, but he's where can I point? He's right there. He's saying, accept me, embrace me, talk to me. Can you imagine how that must feel for God and for Jesus to realize that all you got to do is ask for help and it's there? I'll tell you that I was at a mass one time, and the guy, great homily, and the Reader's Digest version was, there was a kid, you know, pick any character. He's looking out his window. It's a terrible night. It's a stormy night. It's a cold night. It's a horrible night. It's just violent out there. But this guy's safe in the house, and he sees a bunch of birds on the bush, and they're being buffeted and freezing, and he was just he was trying to convince them, all you got to do is go around the corner, and you're safe. You'll be safe. You'll be warm. You'll be protected. He didn't have any way to tell them that. How God looked at us, and he said, I know what I'll do. I'll send my son, and I'll make him look like you. And there you go.
That's beautiful. I love that. I'm going to take that.
You can have it. I didn't write it. I borrowed it. You can borrow it. Yeah, take it away. Yep.
Okay. Now let's talk politics if you're interested in doing that as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Because I've been an entrepreneur since really getting out of law school, and I have found that the Republicans are the ones who care the most about individuality and capitalism and all the things that make the world a good place. So I'd like to ask you, Mark, why do you consider conservative principles to be better than liberal policies?
Yeah. Yeah, it tells me my internet connection's unstable. I'm actually, where we live, it does get a little sketchy, but
No, you're good on my end.
yeah, good. The your question was about, I think, conservative principles, and how are they better?
Yep.
That's an amazing timing, because I challenged our Benzie GOP, we're the smallest county in the state of Michigan, which is a plus because it's easy to connect, it's easy to find, it's easy
Smallest,
to reach.
but not the least.
Yeah, we're the people are wondering, what are you doing up there? We're having fun. But what I did is, at the front end, I challenged our party to come up with, okay, who are we? What are our common sense core values? And we met on Monday nights, and we had pizza, and we closed the door. We had a whiteboard, and nothing was off ground. Talk about anything. And as we talked earlier, what I like about that environment, ordinary people talk about people, or small minds talk about people. Average minds talk about events. Great minds talk about ideas. And we talked ideas. Who are we? What are we? What do we believe in? And when we got done, we came up with, how many got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 core values of a Republican. And those are individual rights. I don't need to go through it's one sentence, but individual rights, limited government, the rule of law, peace through strength, fiscal responsibility, and human dignity. And when we got done, we were at the same place that the founding fathers were in 1776. When you talk about enduring principles and something that is critical to the preservation of our republic, it is those beliefs. And I think those beliefs are built on a firm foundation of a faith and a power greater than ourselves. And it requires us to be engaged and be involved in the process. It talks a lot about personal responsibility, not government responsibility. It talks about limited government, but that means you're born with a value of right and wrong. And I don't need the government to decide what's right or wrong. I don't need a progressive theory to tell me what a man is or what a woman is. I know what those things are. I know what they should be. So yeah, and that's under assault. It's under massive assault right now. If you can remove the underpinnings of our republic, it's, as Lincoln said, you won't be defeated from without. It'll come from within. And that's what I'm witnessing. And so it's our job as men to be the watchtower on the wall and raise the people around us as not really fighters, but educated citizens to protect our republic. And I think the Republicans are better poised we're a majority in our county, even though the vote, we can talk about that issue later, in some instances didn't reflect that. But if you cheat, you win, and we will not allow cheating. That's wrong. And so in Benzie County, if you're not supposed to vote, you're not gonna.
All right.
You can write that down. That's I'm taking that to the bank. It's not going to happen in Benzie County. Yeah,
Well, that shouldn't happen anywhere, but
I know. I know.
all
Yeah.
right, you answered my last question a little bit, so I'm going to ask you something slightly different. I'm going to put you on the spot if that's okay.
That's fine.
How can we get more people to vote Republican? So, we've got these great principles, we've got these great values, and yeah, we can drive out the vote, but how do we get people to the party?
Yeah, what brings them to the party?
Yeah,
Yeah, boy, I'll tell you.
because I mean, on the other side, they're promising them all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, well, absolutely right. Yeah, yeah. Um, what we're doing here is there's lots. The good news is there's a lot of information readily available if you're willing to look at that. And so we are starting to identify who in Benzie County have we not reached, we should reach, and how do we more effectively do that? In the precinct delegate role, in a precinct in Michigan is only 3,000 people. Every time there's more than 3,000, they make a new precinct, a new voting area. So the people in that precinct generally should know the people in their area. And what we're doing now is we're showing them really what's going on. Some of it's education, but some of it's just a handshake or join our party or come join us. And we've watched Benzie County had, I think, the second or highest recruitment rate of precinct delegates simply by asking. And it sounds simple, but many people are looking for a way to express themselves other than looking at social media or texting or answering something on Facebook. I tell them I want action. I don't care what you do. Do not send me a text. Do not send me a Facebook post. Tell me that you were at the commissioners meeting, you were at the school board meeting, you were at the Republican Party. You got engaged.
Wonderful.
So I know that hasn't answered your question completely, but some of it's the responsibility of the citizenry. And so we challenge them. If you want to, if you're not doing anything to fix it, you're the problem.
It sounds like your answer is more community. Be involved 100%. In the community. Understand that your neighbor may not understand what's going on. I get that.
Yeah, I think it's easy to be, don't take this wrong, Bradford. It's easy to be stupid. All you got to do is pick up your phone and the media will tell you. My mind might not be true, but they're going to tell you something and you feel good about it. Okay, well, that answers that question. You didn't dig beneath the cover. And we find it's easier for me to tell you what's going on or challenge me. But I think you're exactly right. We need to build that community back. We're social creatures. We should not isolate ourselves looking at a computer or a phone. Now, I know this is a medium of communication.
And this is online, and everybody's been watching this on their phone.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah. The technology's there. Let's use it.
That's right. All right, Mark, this has been a fantastic interview. I truly appreciate it. How can someone reach out to you if they want to?
Oh, can I give my phone number? Is that okay?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, call me, Mark Smith, 715-218-8211. I'll answer the call. Yeah, I think I would be delighted if somebody called me about anything. Yeah, yep.
Absolutely. And Mark text messages me almost every day, so it's not that he doesn't use his phone.
Yeah. Well, boy, thanks. We were talking about, and I vividly remember when there's a show called The Simpsons.
Still is.
That came out. Yeah, I was raised on shows like Father Knows Best and Leave It to Beaver, where the dad was always, a strong figure, and knew what right from wrong. And when I saw The Simpsons and it was made a buffoon of the dad, I thought, oh my God, what I'm watching the decay of the American male. But I think there's been a resurgence and a revival of that guy, and I'm glad he's back, because God challenges us to be the watchman on the wall, and I'm finding many people are accepting that responsibility, which I think it's as we mentioned earlier, it's nothing new. It's good versus evil. The media of exchange of information exchange might be faster, but it's as old. It's as old as the Bible.
That's right.
And
Nothing
it's
new
our
under the
turn.
sun.
Let's fight.
That's
Let's
right.
push back. And we are in Benzie. We're having a blast. It should not be drudgery. You should wake up every day ready to have some more fun.
Absolutely. And if people really knew your story, then they'd be jumping with you. All
I think
right.
everybody's got a fascinating, interesting story. We need to put the phone and the TV down and talk to each other. Good grief.
That's right. Mark
Yeah.
Smith, thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us today.
Oh
We
my God.
truly, we
Thanks for
genuinely
reaching out to
appreciate
me.
it.
Call me anytime. I'd love to do it again. Follow up anytime. Any way I can help you, you let me know.
Absolutely. And for
Yeah.
everybody else, I'm going to remind you all, keep looking for the light in the tempest. God will show you the way.